what anything.
I went out with Donna Summer. You know, she just died today.
He's liberal-minded in that way.
Donna Summer died today.
Conservative other ways.
Yeah, Donna Summers died today. Donna Summer.
Today?
I met her, I was 19.
Did you know that Donna Summers died today?
I heard about that.
Somebody called me up. I met her, I was 19, she was about 25. She was walking down the street. I was with all the tough Italian hip guys. Somebody said, look, a spade girl is coming. Because no girl would be unapproached. So what I did, the guy said to me, hey, I'm going to talk to her. I said, well, we were debating who was going to talk to her first. So when I did, I just went up to her. I said, excuse me, miss, where are you going? She said, I'm going to the store to get milk. I said, do you mind if I come with you? She said, no. First I thought this girl was a prostitute, a hippie prostitute. She had no shoes, her pants was ripped over here. She had a see-through shirt with no bra, and her hair was in rollers. I figured she's a prostitute who just got up. And then, late in the afternoon, like on South Beach, transsexual prostitute. So I said, let me come with you to get this milk. So we got the milk, she got a quart of milk, and she's walking back to A.D. I said, listen, can I come upstairs and drink that milk with you? Just to see what she's going to say. She said, well, I have an old man. I live with a guy. I said, well, what do you guys do? She goes, I'm a singer on Broadway. She goes, we're going to Germany next week to be in the German production of Hair, the musical Hair. I didn't believe any of that. I said goodbye. She was very nice. I went back to the club to look for other girls. 5 years went by, and I'm in a French disco, the best disco I was ever in, Les Jardins, owned by John Addison, rich guy. So I heard a song called Love to Love, Baby. And I said, wow, man, that's a great song. Who does that? So I went to the DJ. He said, it just came in from Germany. Look, Love to Love You, Baby by Giorgio Moroder and Donna Summer. When I looked at the girl, I said, that's that girl. I said, that's her. There was her. And she became a huge star. Her husband was an Italian-American, Sicilian. He's still married to her. And by the way, she lived in a very expensive part of LA. She made a lot of money. She lived next door to Sophia Loren and Michael Jackson. They all lived in a similar area. I grew up in a poor-shop house. I cursed my mother. One night I went berserk and broke everything in the house. And I jumped on a plane and I was 35, and I knew if I would have stayed home, I was going to commit murder or suicide. That's it. I was going to
Have you ever psychoanalyzed your thoughts or feelings that you have towards women and like?
Yes, I only know women for sex. I don't have no need for them.
And is it because you often...
I was good at sex.
No, but it's also because you've often talked about like your relationship with your mom.
Yeah. My mother hated all my girlfriends because they didn't fit the mold that she wanted, which would have been a girl from Italy, a relative. They can't, she said, a fucking bum like you. She always started with those phrases. Look, in Italian, a disgrace like you. We can't find nobody like for you because you're a fucking bum. You're a drug addict, you're a bum, and nobody wants you in the relatives. No cousin would want you. So I told her that I was going to have sex with my uncle's wife, so she was going to like me. So I planned that. And I called her up to meet her. She was a prominent school teacher. And I said, hey, wait a minute, I'm affected with even white professors at the university. I went to university. And the women doesn't. My uncle said, hey, I know this woman like you. Here's what I want you to do. Come with me to Connecticut. Here's the party, blue car. So the rich women, you're going to have sex with them and they'll pay you. Gigolo. And he didn't know that I read the Bible. You can't do this. I couldn't do that. Extort money from women. That's not my thing. I only wanted to have fun with girls, have sex. And then they always went on with another guy. They always found more guys. Some of them got married. And I never went that far. I burned out. I got sick in '69 and I stayed sick.
Hey, Nicky, what about... did you meet Jimi Hendrix?
Oh yeah, that was cool because I started drinking that night. I never drank before. My friend Andre worked at a pizzeria on McDougal Street, and he had a boat, and they brought Coast Guard. They brought back a fucking ton of marijuana. You know, so I never saw that much marijuana in my life. Everybody had a duffel bag, 4-foot high grass. The captain had 10. And we got it. He worked at the pizzeria and he put marijuana instead of oregano for only pretty girls. When pretty girls came in for a pizza, he would use the marijuana in the pizza. Melted with the cheese, they couldn't taste the difference. So then, after they ate it, he would wait 10 minutes and approach them. When the defenses are down, he would get all their numbers and go out. So there was a lot of people going to the club next door. It was called Cafe Bar. And Jimi Hendrix was there. So I went down, but I was scared to talk. I was paranoid. I was 16. What am I going to talk about? The girls were all pretty, so this black guy said, take some of this wine. We're going to talk after we drink this whiskey. I drank it, we started talking. And I started drinking as much as possible and picking up tricks. But then I became expert the next year. I worked at the Fillmore and at the Electric Circus, so we had every week a new girl. A lot of sex, right in the club, never to go to hotels. So we looked at guys like Hugh Hefner, shit for the straight people. We were getting all the sex we wanted, all the drugs, the Hells Angels gave girls, sex. I even made a porno in 1968. These guys came in with a camera, they went in the club, they were looking for actors for a porno. They didn't call it porno. They said, do you want to be in a movie? I said, well, they'll give you $20. Show
20 bucks, dude.
Christmas Eve at Manzini's Museum on Bleecker and Medusa. All right, I went. Mario was an Italian escape artist. Look, he could get out of any straitjacket, handcuffs. He was an Italian, he looked like Roy Orbison. He performed in the club. So he had a museum of Harry Houdini, and the porno was filmed there. So a girl came, a blonde girl. She was the girl in the film. She didn't like me, I could tell right away. Maybe I was paranoid, I don't know. So
Did you have a fluff girl there?
You got to get naked in the bed. I said, okay, but what do I got to do then? The guy said, you got to embrace this girl, and she'll put her legs around you. It's soft core. You don't have to do penetration. But that's where the Catholic came out. I couldn't do it. So I couldn't do it. They got a Hell's Angels guy to do it. A guy from the Hell's Angels, and he did it. The movie came out a year later on Times Square. It was a Halloween night movie. Everybody had masks and they showed, that's...
The porno you made?
Yeah.
What was it called?
I don't remember the title, but it was at one theater, the World Theater. It was all porn, and that's where they showed that. Because in those days, there was no penetration. The next year, 7 penetration came in, showing up close genitals, penetration. Most of it from San Francisco, and then the Mafia got it. My friend Royce was in the Mafia, and he did the movie called Deep Throat. It was filmed
Deep
here.
Throat and Linda Lovelace.
Do you know how much money that movie made?
That was in like the 70s. I was so talked about it.
Take a guess.
I can't imagine, but I'm sure it was a lot.
I like what? All right, the movie cost $60,000 to make. It made back $800 million, and it was all dominated by the Mafia of New Jersey. They put up the money. The director got $2,000. Linda Lovelace got $600. Harry Reid's, I think, was in it. And it was filmed here on Pine Tree and Venetian Causeway, Coconut Road. 3 spots. My friend Royce was there. You got to meet Royce. He was a Mafia, hardcore Sicilian Mafia guy. He's 84. He met with me 6 months ago. He loves only crime, nothing legal. Only criminal activities. Miss.
What's
In
my
your
half?
life, have you ever met criminal
Come on, you bought
people?
lunch today.
You never met criminal people?
Another business transaction.
I've only met criminal people in my life. I come from the South Bronx, I'm Italian, and I hung out in discotheques and underground
Sorry.
clubs
You will be
all my
edited.
life. Now, here's the next wave of criminal people. Music, drugs, rock and roll, it's all drugs. The Rolling Stones, drugs, Hollywood, drugs, rap, music, hip-hop, all drugs, prostitution, pornography. Then the clean-up version of that is called glamour. Magazines, where are you from? Where? New York. That was the capital of that. I grew up in New York. Times Square. I was born in Italy, but I grew up in the Bronx, South Bronx. I hate all that. Everything I remember about New York, I hate. Only 1 year, 68, LSD. The low is, that's okay. That's where I hung out, and it was all drugs and people on drugs and music from 1967, 68, 69. Then there was Shea Stadium, the big house. Shea Stadium was a mess. I didn't care about sports. That's all bullshit. I wanted music and girls. Two things. That's it. And then you find a job somewhere. You know, most of my friends sold drugs. Colombian guys, drugs. Pablo Escobar, Capital Corporation. Things driving a cab was only Mike was doing. Had sex with all the girls. Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, nobody. He told me, I would like you to talk to him. Bring him down and make that film. Listen to me, I got an idea. You know The Sopranos? You ever watched that show?
No, but I know, I've heard of it. No, I've never watched it.
You know,
I don't watch TV.
That's the most successful show on TV. Why? What do they talk about on that show? Why do people like that show? Well, for two reasons. One, it is a very violent show. Two, it is well written, and it's unusually directed. You ever heard of Peter Bogdanovich? He's an American director and producer.
Bogdanovich.
He made a movie, The Last Picture Show.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
All right, I met him. He was on The Sopranos. He said, this is the only show worth watching. And he said, I'm on the show, and I love the show. It's the only show that's worth seeing. And then I watched the show. I watched it for 2 years. The reason I don't like those guys is because I grew up with them. That's the most you're going to be if you get involved in crime, is like those people. The women cannot go against the man. It's another set-up structure. John Gotti, you know. But Mafia had a lot to do with the promotion of underground clubs and music. All the discotheques. They're all breaking laws of capacity. They pay the fire department, the police department, and they get the best acts to come in. This is Mafia. It's involved with the record industry, too. All the best managers were Mafia affiliated. Freddie the Man, look, Michael Jackson's manager, Madonna's